Hello, it's Andy Graham of Hobo Traveler. I'm in Diallo's restaurant, Cafeteria Diallo. It's close to the X school in Cojo Villacope, and I'm eating my habatu or something like that. That means my regular meal: 2 eggs, sans tomate, sans onion, avec piment, acheté. Okay, I want to answer Philip B. from Switzerland's question. How do I survive the high murder rate of Guatemala? Okay, I'm here in Africa, which is safe, and Guatemala is incredibly dangerous, and people believe that I'm in danger here, but they're safe in Guatemala. You get all these missionary groups going to Guatemala. Oh, dangerous. Okay, you really got to think of crime as crime is not really a countrywide thing as much as it's a citywide thing or a neighborhood thing. So like I'm in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and there's areas in southeast Fort Wayne, Indiana, near there, where I lived for about 14 years, where it's considered a higher crime area. I always laugh, well, I won't go into that because I'm liable to cross that politically correct line. But I go to Lake Atitlan, called Lago Atitlan in Guatemala. It's got to be one of the best climates on the planet. Paradise, except it's full of the granola for lunch bunch. Conspiracy theory people kind of dominate the place, but the locals in that culture, there's Cachiquel, Tutujil, and one other culture, I think 2 or 3 other languages, just don't tolerate crime. So they're vigilantes, and they basically will drive everybody away. So that particular lake neighborhood is relatively safe. You go 5 miles away outside the city and it becomes incredibly dangerous. Danger, Diallo's looking at me. Latino countries are relatively all dangerous. They sequester, they kidnap. Yo hablo español. But you can find neighborhoods, just the same as America. You can find a neighborhood where there's very low crime rate, and you can find neighborhoods where there's high crime rate. And that is the problem where you travelers do, is they drive a car and they drive into a bad neighborhood abroad, and they don't know it. If you're taking a taxi, the taxi driver won't really take you into an incredibly dangerous neighborhood because he don't want to get robbed. He don't want to get attacked. But they drive cars into bad neighborhoods, and I know a guy in Lake Atitlan that's been robbed 11 times, a Philippine guy living up on the hill. And he just, willful blindness, like, hey, that's part of life, right? You have to stay inside certain neighborhoods and don't get too far from the neighborhood. In Guatemala, you stay outside the thing, and you also don't, how do you say it? You don't become a target. You don't walk around looking silly, carrying a camera like I'm doing right here, because it's safe to do it here. In Guatemala, I have to always keep it under cover or be the biggest boy on the block walking around with you know, you don't want to be the obvious. I'm getting older. There's going to come a point where I become the soft target. Right now I'm still 185 pounds. You know, they got these guys walking around with cameras on their thing. I mean, you see it in Antigua. Antigua is a very tourist town, but very, very, very dangerous place. And they'll rob you right in the middle of the city there. And the murder rate. The murder rate's normally murder is normally in between. I mean, in Guatemala they got a high murder rate between the, what do they call those guys? Coyotes taking them across the border that are trying to. It's not normally, murder is not a common thing. But, you know, if you're in a car, driving a car through Central and South America, they can stop the car. My eggs come. Sandwich come. This cost 80 cents. I got an egg with peppers inside and a piece of bread. 80 cents US. Wow, you go to one of the tourist hotels and it's going to cost you $3. and not even have the spices in it. Okay. Murder is not a common thing. It usually ends up being a girlfriend-boyfriend thing. I mean, you can let people out of prison. Recidivism rate in the United States, you could let all the murderers out of prison and really be okay almost in America because they killed their wife and they did it one time and they're not going to do it again. Or they killed their husband and they're not going to do it again. So murder is usually a crime of love. It happens all the time in Pattaya. If you put a Google alerts up like American killed, you'll find out that Pattaya has a lot of murders. Dominican Republic is just way beyond thing. They just kill everybody. For a white person to get killed abroad is really tough. But you can, driving a car through Guatemala, they stop the car. I think it might be the police that do it. Basically, they want to, if they got a big enough thing and they wanted to wipe the thing, they probably would just make you disappear. You would never know that you got killed, you'd just disappear. And but they rob all the time in Guatemala, and the secret to not getting robbed is to travel between, say, 7 o'clock in the morning and 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Those are the times where all the drunk robbers are sleeping, and not to travel at night. In Guatemala, you really should be home in your room after 10 o'clock at night. There's a bunch of, I don't know, even in Lake Atalan, there's some boys walking around in groups. I mean, you have to be wise. But, you know, if you're going to go out anywhere on the planet after 11 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night, your risk goes up, 5 to 10%, not 5 to 10 times. So how do I survive? I basically, I'm not a drunk. I don't go out after 11 o'clock at night. I don't have any desire to stay out till 4 o'clock in the morning cruising the bars like some kind of child. I'm an adult. Okay? I'm not a... And I like people in the morning. So I wake up in the morning, 6 o'clock. So I try to find my morning people. But you can find violence anywhere on the planet if you do the wrong thing. And normally that's arriving at 11 o'clock at night with your full backpack, with a camera hanging around your neck, and surrounded by drunks. One of the most dangerous places I ever was in Munich, Germany. And it was trying to walk across the park during the middle of the day because, you know, really, whatever you think, the white population is much more violent than the Latino or black. The black population is really, really passive. But the whites, they're the ones, you know, only Germany killed 55 million people in World War II. It's, you know, they make, like, the violence in Africa is horrible. The whites have so many rules. We don't even have, there's not even police around here. Hard to find them, and they're still safe. In Germany, there's police everywhere. In America, there's police everywhere because we're violent. Okay? It's about wisdom. But wisdom is knowing not to put yourself in harm's way and not to be a demonstration of higher value, not to become a target. Walking around with your camera this long, thank you. You get robbed, I don't. Walking around with your huge purse, old lady with a big purse because she did it in America, she thinks she's going to do it overseas. That's why the rules of travel, the book I'm writing, is to teach you the rules outside the United States, outside your comfort zone. Okay, Philip, you know, before you guys take off traveling, you might like to know that, like, South Africa is a very, very dangerous place. Go on these websites. He's pretty smart. He's getting on there and he's trying to figure out which countries have the highest murder rate, but you want to know what, like, carjacking. Carjacking is a big deal. You know, you're much more likely to die in a car accident than you are getting killed by things. So really being wise about walking across the street. I mean, when I walk in Thailand, it's so tough because they drive on the wrong side of the road and I look the wrong way and the car's coming from the other way, right? And I gotta walk. I always look both ways. I try to always look both ways in all countries. It's tough. It's tough. But to be savvy is to never think you know the situation. Always know that you're in harm's way and don't become a target. I mean, everybody, I don't know, everybody around me is a target. I'm like, but right now I'm a target. I have a camera sitting on a table, right? That tells everybody that I'm doing. But I'm trying to show you the culture too. My friend's coming, so I'm going to eat at Diallo's. Great place, Cafeteria Diallo in Kojo Via Kopi, Lomi, Togo.